get to stand up again and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get the meeting going, I'm sure all of you have heard about the circumstances with Larry Coppola passing away. And so we are trying to scramble around and get a few things done. We were trying to get our Zoom link, but we don't have all the passwords, so there's no Zoom, but we do have live stream on Mason Web TV. And we're not sure where Leanne is. Hopefully she's okay too. So we will continue business the best that we can. And I do want to say, Larry's wife, Dee, had just wanted to say that Larry loved and had a passion for this job, for the port. And he had such a passion. He was always thinking and always trying to be diligent about it. So thank you, Dee, for supporting Larry, and Larry's going to be greatly missed. So do I hear approval of the agenda, or are there any other changes?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda when we get down there.
Okay.
I'm going to make, when we get down to the business items, I'll be making another motion anyway.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Thank you. Okay, we're at the consent agenda items. I'm figuring that you had the ability to take a look at the minutes.
Yes.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the September 7th, 2003 special meeting minutes and the September 13th, 2023 special meeting minutes.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Action items, who would like to read those?
I will. Action item A, payroll voucher number 23-100-1001 to 23-100-1011 for $21,821.67. Item B, voucher 23-100-2001 to 23-100-2025 for $17,048.35. And number C, water fund vouchers 23-100-3001 to 23-100-3002 for $1,571.87. And D, approve the approval of digital signatures on these documents.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Yeah, I'll second that motion to approve those items.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, so moved. Commissioner reports.
I'll go ahead and start with the two meetings we had. We were rescheduled on the 7th of September. We did a quick Zoom meet to schedule the regular meeting, which is the other meeting that I attended on the 13th of September. And I went to Mason Transit Authority Board meeting in September as well on the 19th. That's it.
Okay, Ted?
Let's see, I attended both the special meeting and the regular meeting. We also had a salmon enhancement group meeting that went pretty well. We're studying net pins out in Puget Sound. That's going to take a lot of discussion. The Squaxin tribe does have a net pin out towards Hope Island, and they've been very supportive in that. But that's going to take a lot of work. One good news is that North Mason School District is received a grant to expand their environmental science classes up at North Mason High School. So we want to partner with them, and they've been very supportive. And then I attended the environmental seminar in Tacoma. It was very good. A lot about permits, getting permits, maintaining permits. And that was a very good seminar, and it was a wonderful location. It was very well attended also. So,
Fantastic.
All right.
I did the special meeting, the 7th and the 13th for the regular port meeting, Mesa County EDC, and the recompete progress is doing well. Recompete, well, they are, what that is, again, they're going for grants for infrastructure and major projects. We're part of that. It's pretty lengthy. I didn't bring my paperwork because I couldn't remember it all, but it's been moving forward and doing well. September 18th, I met with Tremont Builders. They're getting the windows put in the Oyster House. They're doing a great job. They did reframing to beef it up inside, and it's looking really good. So we're moving along with that. And that's it for there. Travis, you're on.
Travis Merrill, Port Valley Security. We've had a string, or at least 2 boats of non-payment for the month. One that started last month, the one by the name of the Blue Monkey 2, we have actually taken possession of. We will have to come up with a plan to either auction, sell, or just have it demolished, removed by somebody to come take it. We haven't, it literally came into our possession in the last week and a half, so we haven't really, the office hasn't coordinated with doing anything with that yet. But I'm sure we can get on that here in the next few weeks. We should get rid of it soon or come up with a plan because the weather is getting more inclement and the boat isn't taking on water, but it's, I mean, no one's tending to it at this point.
Is it salvageable?
To somebody who's willing to put the work in, it's an older boat, but it doesn't appear like it's rotten. It's holding a flat water line. It's not taking on water, but it definitely is just, bare bones on the inside, and there's a sleeping bag inside and a bunch of other things that I've always checked to see if there's any change, to see if somebody's been coming back, but it's pretty obvious that that's not the case.
How big is it?
22-ish, 23-ish feet.
So
And I think it's fixed keel, so it's not the easiest thing to get out of there.
Easy to move.
So maybe an auction would be best?
Auction would be best. I mean, there's probably somebody that would be willing to take it if we just did a public auction on it.
Yeah.
And then we had another one here in Allyn that just no communication, so we posted it. And then over the weekend, somebody had taken the mast from resting to full on up and installed. So I tried to find out with Leanne whether it had been paid, but I haven't been able to hear back from her. So Donnie didn't know for sure if they had paid or not. So we'll get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Otherwise, port's pretty quiet at night, so nobody's been giving me any guff.
So it's trailerable, yeah.
Oh, the one to auction off?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trailerable, but you have to have a special trailer
I know.
because it's got a fixed keel, so
Yeah.
that will be the more difficult spot. I mean, if somebody's just willing to take it, if it doesn't auction off, it would be best
Better,
to
yeah.
just take the offer.
Well, my last question is how, I mean, obviously, we have to start choosing our battles with a handful of things going on, but will it make it, I mean, the rough weather's coming, so.
Sure.
It's gonna be challenging to put it off too.
I
right?
think if somebody with sailing experience could get on there within a day and get it to the point where they can get it out of there, or you just bring a kicker motor on and
I know.
take the kicker motor off that's got barnacles encrusting the actual prop
Okay,
off there and put another one on there, and you can get it right over to the boat launch. So,
Okay.
all right. Okay.
Thank you, Travis.
any other questions?
No, thank you, Travis.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next is our executive director's report, and Larry pulled it all together. So John Sheridan, Commissioner John, is going to read it for us.
All right. Okay. October 2nd, 2023, financial issues. This is Larry's report written from the hospital. All good news here. Revenues are performing as expected. The water system continues to do well, and the gazebo is rented every weekend in September, which is somewhat unusual. Our new contractor has taken over the bookkeeping tasks as of September 1st, and we have worked out a tentative process for her to get materials she needs from us, and vice versa. We will also begin the budgeting process with her using Springbook for the first time next month. We will also be paying the capital fund line of credit down to zero shortly as well. We owe $10,000 on it, and we will be turning in reimbursements to Commerce that exceed that amount. Water system issues. As you know, our primary goal at the juncture is to get approval to use the grant money to acquire Jeff Carey's system, including the well and the lots comprising his sanitary area around it. Commerce allowed us to change the scope of the grant to do this. Ecology got back with us with some additional questions that our consultant has responded to. Our consultant spoke with Ecology Friday and resubmitted it for the permit and discussed the next steps. Our original goal was to wrap this up by Labor Day, which obviously didn't happen. But depending on 3 state agency approval timelines, Ecology, Health, and Commerce is always problematic. However, since this is going to go into October, we will reapply for the Department of Health consolidation loan for the part of the purchase price. It forgives 50% of that price once the consolidation is approved. And we will need the money to make all this work. We were originally going to have Jeff build the booster pump system before we close the deal because he isn't bound by prevailing wage, which we are, and could build it at a lot cheaper. We would have then just added the cost to the final purchase price. However, after meeting with our engineer last week and discussing this, we might also trip a couple of DOH regulations, which would still make this legal, but delay closing. Since we are under a time deadline for the ARPA funds, we should forego the booster system and build it after closing. Yes, we will have to pay prevailing wage, but the DOH consolidation loan should also cover the differential in cost with a minimum out-of-pocket cost, if any, to the port. I reported previously that the county had thrown us a curveball because we haven't used the $100,000 in ARPA funds they have reserved for the project yet, and wanted to possibly rescind the commitment for that money so they can use it in their 2024 budget. Our consultant is working the county about the ARPA funds. Both Commissioner Scott and I met with the county commissioners, and when we got them up to speed on exactly where we are in the process, they agreed to not rescind their commitment for the money. They did ask for a commitment from us that we would have the money obligated by June 30th of the next year, which should not be a problem. They also asked us to look into whether or not we would need a third-party appraisal of the Carey system. But from what we've been able to discern, what the county administrator told us, his research has found, it appears that that won't be necessary. Our consultant will be submitting the necessary paperwork to the tribes for us. Allyn Pier Replacement Project. As you know, our options are to replace the entire pier with a completely new structure, sleeve the existing pilings, which effectively gets the creosote out of the water as well as stops the deterioration of the pilings, or drive new pilings, which we will need to do for the ones that are missing no matter what. We are currently exploring the feasibility and useful life of the 3 options. The bottom line is we won't know enough to make any decisions until we get either engineers' estimates or bids. And if we tap into the federal funds for this, we will put the RFP out and see what happens, as we will be required to solicit bids no matter what we decide anyway. One option I'm exploring with your lobbyists is finding federal funding for replacing the entire structure, which I expect to cost somewhere between $5 to $7 million. Our realistic chances of getting that much out of the state are pretty remote. Our lobbyists and I met with Republican Derek Kilmer's staff and got an idea of what's involved in beginning the federal funding process and are working on the first steps. Dock repair. We have never received the bid from the Marine Floats, the firm that built the dock, so our insurer Endurus has hired us, AUS, the same firm that repaired the damage to the North Shore dock, to do the work. I have forwarded their bid, which I received this afternoon, along with their report, the driver's report, and Endurus statement of what's covered and what isn't. Long story short, the pilings that are beginning to rot and the framework of the finger pier are not covered, and and we're responsible for repairing these items. The cost is close to $50,000. I need to get some clarification on which pilings are covered in the supplemental estimate and which ones aren't. I wasn't able to talk to anyone before tonight's meeting. Another problem at this point is a supply chain issue where the pedestals are concerned. The last timeline we were given for the availability is 28 weeks, so we are looking for alternatives. However, at the Kitsap All Ports meeting last month, I asked if anyone had any information or experience with pedestals that could charge electrical powered boats, and was told that there are some pedestals that accept the standard 30 and 50 amp plugs and still charge the electrical propulsion batteries at the same time. So I'm trying to find additional information, costs, and delivery timelines on those. At least boating season is over for this year, but we lost an entire summer of revenue. We are also talking with Endurance about some kind of reimbursement on this. I'll keep you in the loop as I learn more. Rogue Fabricator has come up with a design for a system of cables similar to that what is used on the highways as guardrails. They asked for clarification from the federal government about whether or not this would be an acceptable solution, and weren't able to find anyone to say it wasn't. This would be quick and easy for one person to install or take down in less than an hour, and would take a lot less space to store when not in use. Their proposal is on your agenda for the discussion, as it exceeds my spending authority. Upcoming comprehensive plan update. At our August 24th special meeting, you all decided on the final list and the order of priorities for the projects. I put together the community survey using those guidelines, and it is on tonight's agenda for review and approval. I'll have fill-in blanks PDF copies of it ready for distribution this week. We will have a copy on our website and Facebook page. It also asks our community partners to distribute it to the members for return to us. I will also have copies available for you all to use the community outreach. We have to have the final approved plan to RCO by March 1st, 2024 to be considered for any future funding for them for our projects. Security camera deployment. I met with the contractor we've been talking with for several months on what's needed to redeploy the existing cameras we have and get them active once again. I want to move forward at a step at a time, as we have funds to do so. This is the first step in that process. Security camera funds recovery. I filed a case with the Kitsap County Small Claims Court for the balance of our claim against the previous security camera contractor. We already won a judgment for $5,000 in the first case and have identified 2 bank accounts we may be able to garnish. We will go to court on this claim on the 11th of October. Kayak Park. I asked RCO if we could convert Kayak Park use to include EV charging stations. After making us fill out numerous forms and complete an entire list of other things, we got an answer that yes, they will allow us to do this, but with a laundry list of conditions. I'll be wading through that, and we'll start working on finding grant money. See what that's going to look like. Don and I figured out what needs to be done electrically to use the sign we got from the Kitsap County Fire District. We ordered the replacement parts, basically both ballasts and 8 new fluorescent tubes, plus a couple of spares. The ballasts came in last week, and the tubes are supposed to be here this week. Old business, Oyster House. We met with Art Anderson, ECO engineers, to make sure everyone is on the same page about who needs to do what to keep this moving. Art Anderson, who did the original piling design, is working on the plans for what we need to do to relocate the building and cantilever it over the water, as well as the engineer's estimate for the cost of the construction. ECO Engineers is handling all the permitting. This requires a change in scope for the grants, and I have already submitted the necessary paperwork for our grant manager for this. It's been approved for 1 grant, and we expect approval for the 2nd grant shortly. Representative Griffey has said he will help us if we need him run interference on this. Sweetwater Park. I was asked to speak at the Port of Hoodsport this morning in reference to the disc golf idea for Sweetwater. They had a similar issue to our danger trees, and were able to mitigate it in a way that removed the trees and didn't cost the port anything. They are sending me information about how they did it and the contractors they used. The only other thing new to report is that we have taken down the remaining trail camera as the other two were stolen. I'm still trying to decide whether or not to upgrade these with ones that record video and send it remotely or not. That way, if someone does steal them, we'll at least have their picture on them. Kitsap All Ports meeting, the next one is October 20th at the Port of Brownsville. And we're all invited.
Okay.
That's it.
The security camera. I was told that the gentleman that we were trying to get has disappeared, so we may just let that one go.
Okay.
We'll see. That was the update for that one anyway.
Okay.
Okay, new business. We need to, the first item is to schedule a special meeting for an executive session to discuss the negotiations for the well acquisition. So we need to make a meeting. Huh?
Pick your date.
Okay.
Okay,
It's 3 versus 1, so it's.
Yeah.
let me find my calendar.
All right. Yeah, I've got mine too.
My next week is busy. I have some openings on the third week. And remember, our WPPA small ports is the 25th, 26th, 27th.
I'm out of town. I'm out of town that week.
The week
Oh,
of
the week
this.
before?
Yeah.
Are you too?
No.
I mean, you can go on without me.
No, we need all of us.
Okay, all right, I would expect so.
Do you want to try, well,
What about?
let me ask you this.
What?
When would you guys like to try?
Okay. Is next week out?
I
mean, what are we
maybe
talking about?
I could do something
Did I
in the evening. I have a couple of nights, I think, in the evening that are open.
If, all right, quickly, if we do it next week, I'll have to Zoom it. So anyway.
Well,
Or we
that
can do
might
it
be a
this week.
challenge. Remember.
Yes, I know.
It might be a challenge.
That is a challenge.
One of us could set up the Zoom meeting that we could use to.
How about this week, later this week? Is that a possibility?
If you, let me take a look here.
I don't want to put him off.
I'm pretty jammed, but, let's see, I can't tomorrow. I'm working all day.
Doesn't-
Friday? Is there anything Friday that's,
How about you on Friday?
Jeff? It's Friday.
I can make it work.
Okay.
Can we do an afternoon one? Are you working?
No, I can make it work.
An afternoon one?
Yeah.
How about an afternoon, Friday afternoon? How about you, John?
I'm good Friday. I'll move things around.
What, a Friday afternoon?
Yeah, next, this Friday.
This
Yeah,
Friday?
this Friday,
Okay, yeah.
2, 3,
2 o'clock.
2?
The sooner the better, because you have the other constraint for getting me is
Yeah,
the grants.
Yes,
and
I know.
loans.
that's why we can't put it off.
yeah. So 2 o'clock?
And the other part, yeah, and the other part is assuming we come to an agreement, my turn is to get the contract written is somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks.
Yeah, and we need,
And so,
yeah, and.
Okay.
I've already primed them and prompted them, but, you know, until I know what we're saying.
Right. Well, we'll have to really get into a deep session on that, because it's like, it's also about the manpower to make it happen, and there's so many moving parts now.
So 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock?
Friday.
Here.
Fine.
What, Debbie?
October 6th.
She's just putting it in.
Yeah,
October 6th.
Yes,
correct.
okay, all right, cool. Yeah,
You good with that, Ted?
Yes.
okay. Cool. And
Okay.
That's a real specific session.
Yeah.
regarding that? Okay.
Okay, yes.
Question. If there's material germane to that, do I send it to you? If there's material germane to our meetings,
Yes.
would it be sent? to you?
Email it to Leanne as well, we're not sure,
Yeah. Right.
but also to her, and then probably to me,
Right.
and then hopefully she can disperse it,
Yes.
so I don't get in trouble.
It's fine, it's fine. It may not be, but if there is something, I just want to
Yeah.
get your hands.
I would suggest right now, until we know further, to continue that for
Yeah.
all these matters, and as the chairwoman, and Leanne. Yeah,
Yeah, to
Leanne,
Leanne,
for,
to, yeah,
not just for this, but regarding
Yeah.
anything revolving around
Yeah, fair.
that. Okay.
Thank you.
okay. Okay, got that in there. So, October 6th,
Yeah. Here,
yes.
okay.
And a discussion for the new date for the meet and greet with the surveys and brochures. Well, I don't know, the surveys are done, but I don't know about the brochures, so we might have to put that off.
Okay, can I look at this
Oh,
real quick?
sure, go ahead.
So I'm going to make a proposal that A, B, and C, we table it, just for now.
Now, let me take a look here, because we may have to set up a meeting. Actually,
Well, B and C, sorry.
might I suggest that we make a date to talk about rogue fabricators? We would need another meeting probably, because Rogue was going to be contacted, they were going to come out and explain, and I
Oh.
wanted to see if,
Okay.
or would you rather wait? What would you rather do?
I think right now we're going to need to have 2 meetings a month.
Okay,
Yeah. So if we,
okay, so we'll table,
Yeah, I just want to prioritize,
Yeah.
things changed.
yeah, okay. Table B and C, we talk about the small ports seminar. You're going?
I plan on going, I'm
Yeah.
going to have to find out what, yeah.
Okay,
I
and I'm
plan.
going. Leanne was supposed to go. I think she's still going.
All right,
That is located in Chelan.
yes.
Okay. Public comment, finally. Here we go. Ken, did you have something?
Sure. Thank you, Commissioners. Just a suggestion regarding the boat. The cemetery district had someone dump a much smaller boat and trailer on our property up there, and we ended up just taking it to that Linden salvage place up on top of the hill. They deal with those boats of all sizes. I just saw a big one in there the other day. If the auction isn't successful for disposing of that, that might be a place
Okay.
to consider. Basically, I wanted to discuss, I read the executive director's report before the meeting, and just wanted to talk about the business with Sweetwater and the disc park. It's my opinion that the disc people came back in May or something and said they weren't interested anymore. They went up there and looked at it. And I don't think that the RCO would allow the port to log that property. There's too much streams in there, and there's also one that's been directed onto the property, and I don't think you'll be able to mitigate that. And I also wanted to talk about the August meeting. The meeting you held in Kitsap County. I don't think that was properly advertised, and it was held out of county, which was in error as well. You did discuss things that were not on the agenda at that meeting, and Mr. Capola talked about the Sweetwater Park business and mentioned that there was cost overruns involved with it, and he was suggesting that the port should probably abandon that proposal. And I think a couple of the other commissioners weighed in on that too, either giving the property back to the school or giving it to a different agency. And I think this is probably the proper course of action with that particular property. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Jeff?
Jeff Carey of Belfair. First of all, I realize your plate's full right now, so I will state things, but I understand they're not going to happen instantaneously, and it'll take time. But the board still needs to be aware of it. Through this process of working with our water system and the port's water system, and your engineer and your reports and what have you, it's my opinion that the engineer, Northwest Water isn't the best fit for the Port of Allyn. It's that I have nothing against them. It's just that I'm looking at their engineering and I'm looking at things they've designed for the port, and they're not fully considering the zoning that's going into the area that they're putting water in. In other words, they're building too much infrastructure to and it's just going to drive up the cost of you guys trying to cover your costs in your water bills and stuff like that, for the client or customers. So I'm concerned that it needs to be looked at, because you really don't have another party that can debate what the plan is. In other words, none of us are really experts on engineering. My only angle is that I've been involved a little bit with infrastructure, so I can look at the zoning issues and see that maybe we're overlooking things and that end up costing the port or the taxpayer or the grant more money than we need to spend. So I guess what I'm saying is, in short, is some further look needs to be done at what's being proposed and different things, because the plans that I'm seeing are, and that, like Larry was asking me to quote, to build a booster. I worked out a solution to solve the whole eastern third of the UGA between our water systems, but we couldn't work it because my water system plan's expiring. I'd have to update it, but if you're buying it, it doesn't make any sense. It's not in the port's plans the way I'm laying it out, so it's another review by Department of Health, and that's kind of what he was referring to, the glitches. So anyway, happy to answer any questions on that later. The second thing is, and I have three things. The second thing is the comp plan. There's a lot of talk about a number of different things, but one of your biggest both revenues and expense is the water systems and your progression over the next 5, 10, 20 years. And it doesn't seem to be anything or much related to that. It just seems like it's oh, by the way, when in fact it's pretty high up and important to what the port's doing currently, and has big impacts both on your budgets as well as your ratepayers. So third point, Sweetwater Park. My concern is there's one RCW that I keep reading and I can't see how it fits, and that's RCW 53.08.260. And in that RCW, it's basically talking about, hey, the ports can have parks, no issue. The issue is, does the park support your other, it's ancillary to helping develop other things of the port. And when I look at it, there's like 6 areas. So when you say, like, does it help more fully utilize your docks? No. Boat landings? No. Local harbors? No. What they call fully utilize air, land, and water passage transfer terminals? No. These are no fits for the Port of Allyn. Is it necessary to fully utilize your waterways? No. At least in my opinion, I don't see how to fit. And last but not least is to fully utilize the other port facilities. Whether that exists or not, I don't see how that's going to help utilize the port's facilities any more than anything else. Other things that would do a better job, i.e. water system, i.e. industrial development, i.e. these other things would better fully utilize the your infrastructure and your, what facilities you have in place right now. So anyway, the bottom line is I'm just saying that RCW, at least to the lay person, it looks like it's in conflict with going forward with much on the Sweetwater Park. And I asked the board just to really look into that and see if that isn't the step that, you step away from it or whatever, however you work it. Don't get me wrong, I do want to see the park. I want to see Sweetwater Park become a park for the community. I think it's important that it does. But this just, within the regs we got, I don't think this is a proper fit. That's all.
Yeah.
So.
And to that point,
Thank you.
Jeff, I think we're looking at trying to navigate through that would be the end game. We haven't gotten there.
It's fine, and I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not-
I appreciate it.
I'm not in a hurry.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking fast only because you only got your 3 minutes or less.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying it has to occur today, tomorrow,
Sure.
but we need to move in that direction or at least do the proper thing. I think the port should be involved in the sense of making sure however it gets transferred,
Right,
that it's still community or locally driven,
right,
because that's how it was originally intended.
exactly.
That may not be possible, but I think you need to turn over every leaf, every branch, just to make sure to try to hit that.
Right.
So,
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, thank you, John.
thank you.
yep, thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay, anything for the good of the order? Okay, we are going to go into executive session. We're going to or recess the regular meeting. We're going to go into executive session as personnel for 30 minutes, and then we will resume. There will be no action, and then we will go back into session and adjourn. So if I could ask everybody to give us 30 minutes.
Well, and followed by that, just to reiterate that when we come back out of the executive session, we're just adjourning. So, I mean, unless there's something else that somebody wants to add to the public
Yeah.
comment. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, shall I wait? Okay. Executive session is closed. Regular meeting is opened. Anything for the good of the order?
I can give something for the good of the order.
Okay, because normally we just adjourn, but there was no action taken, so go ahead.
Okay. This is a big blow. Larry was very important to everything that went around here. And I don't know why we don't have Leanne here tonight.
Yeah.
But this is like a climb, This is an uphill climb to get back to where we were.
Right.
And I want to make sure you all know that I'm completely available every morning to come in
Great.
and help with anything I can do, anything I can learn. Because I could see myself in that position that Larry held here in the future. Maybe not the near future, maybe a little bit farther future as I learn. But I'm going to be around for as long as you'll have me.
Okay,
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you, Travis.
yep.
Gives us some food for thought.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.